Welcome back to Building and Breaking, where we talk about how brands are built. Wow. Okay, let's start over. Welcome back to Building and Breaking, where we talk about how brands are built, trust is broken, and what salon owners, hairstylists, and pro beauty brands can learn. I'm your host, Nina Kovner, and today's story isn't about a $1 billion brand. It's actually about a hairstylist working inside of a Walmart salon who I believe is quietly showing our entire industry what care, trust, and value looks like in action. I came across Katie at the Walmart hairstylist on TikTok on my For You page one night. And honestly, it stopped me in my tracks. As a brand strategist, mentor, educator, someone who has spent decades talking about the importance of the fundamentals. And most recently, in the last 4 years, really to be doubling down on care, trust, and value. I wasn't expecting to find someone that so clearly express those fundamentals um, from a hairstylist working inside a Walmart salon. Now, not there's no judgment here. I actually thought it was AI. And I am not a conspiracy theorist in any way, shape, or form, but we all know how much AI has been messing with us collectively when it comes to content. I really thought it was AI. And and simply because I've never seen, not never, I rarely see this type of consistent, high touch client experience content coming from a value based salon. Her videos aren't based on trending audios or big viral transformations. They are simple. They are stories of everyday clients coming in and wanting to feel cared for, wanting to find value, and wanting to look and feel beautiful. And the way she documents her day in the life as a Walmart hairstylist is so fucking inspiring. So I find these videos. Of course, I start following her page. And then, as I do, as a strategist, as a curious researcher of human behavior, consumer behavior, etc., I start reading the comments. And shockingly, once again, there are so many comments in her videos from hairstylists of every business model: independent, employment based, different market positions, luxury, value, mid market. They're educators cheering her on. And with all of the rage bait and unpopular opinions and hot takes and just the constant uh, low energy negativity that tends to go viral on all social media apps, I was just so like emotional. I know, shocking. So emotional seeing how many hairstylists are supporting her, calling her gracious and professional and humble and kind. And they've noticed what I noticed: her exceptional client care, the consistency in which she delivers those experiences, how happy and peaceful she is. Because what goes viral, what goes viral in our industry isn't usually real. I've talked about this so many times over the years. But that's what's real. That's what gets our attention. That's what gets our attention, right? So we begin to lose perspective. Every day there are hairstylists showing up just like Katie does. We just don't always see it on the internet. And what really there's so many lessons here. We're going to be talking about all the lessons in this episode. But one of the things that I just love, Katie represents hundreds of thousands of hairstylists in every business model and in every market position, whether it's luxury, mid market, or value. Um, People are showing up every day delivering elevated, aligned with their brand experiences. We just aren't seeing it. We just aren't seeing it. And as someone who has spent years, years focusing on the fundamentals and really encouraging our industry to double down on care, trust, and value. Katie's content just honestly feels like a masterclass in everything we see our industry drift away from. Now, again, it's what we see on the internet is not always what's happening in real life, but we cannot deny that there are people in our industry that are struggling. So this episode is not about Walmart. It's not about going viral. It's not about what happens when it's not about the things that tend to get the most attention. This is about what really fucking matters to clients when they are seeking a salon to go to. And this is about connecting some of the themes that I have talked about for years. Care, trust, and value, reconnecting with the nostalgia macro trends, um, of course, aligned with your brand, and building a brand that is going to deliver high lifetime client value, the amount of happiness, joy, referrals, and revenue your clients bring you over the lifetime of your relationship. So, Katie's story is really a personal brand that is all about care, trust, and value. Now, I talk about brand story. Brand story outlines a lot. That's the work that I do. With my clients, it's the work we're doing in Mentored every single day. You know, and so for the purpose of this episode, I created a little brand story outline for Katie's personal brand. I don't know Katie. I've never worked with Katie, but I just felt it was important context for this episode. Katie is about care. I mean, it's care. It's care. It is caring about her clients, caring about her space, caring about the needs of her clients, and caring about sharing what she learns. And she does that so beautifully in her TikTok content, and she is consistent. It's not filter, it's not performative, it's not ego. It's just consistency and care. And I talk often in these episodes and everywhere else. Trust is built on promises kept, and I truly believe that's one of Katie's magical that's part of Katie's magic. So when we break down the brand story outline, brand purpose, what problems are you solving? Brand promise, how do you solve those problems? Brand people, who do you solve problems for? And brand products and services, what solutions do you provide to help solve the problems of your people? Um, I really believe that some of the problems that Katie is solving is just making somebody's day. People don't always feel like they matter when they go to the salon, particularly in a value based business. The salon inside Walmart is on the price pyramid, would be on the value level versus mid market or luxury. And these clients tend to feel like they're looked upon as less than for choosing an affordable option. We see that a lot on the internet. We see like getting your hair done's a luxury. And it's like, no, it's not. Going to a luxury salon is a luxury. Going to a salon is not a luxury. because I can go to the salon, I can go see Katie inside Walmart. That's not a luxury price point, but I can still look and feel beautiful and get my hair done. So, again, this is just another great lesson on how important market position is in your overall brand story and brand strategy. So, Katie, I see from her content, she reminds people that everyone deserves awesome hair. Everyone deserves kindness and everyone deserves care, no matter where they sit, no matter what they spend. And I think that's such an important lesson for all of us. I also feel like she takes incredible pride in her work, in her space, um, and in her creativity, in her content. And, you know, again, the noise that we see on the internet, especially from pandemic forward, is this attitude, this ego, this resentment, this being difficult to do business with. I talked about this a lot in two episodes of the previous podcast. I talked about in January in 2023 care, trust, and value, and how important it was going to be because of economic insecurity, inconsistencies, blah blah blah, people being uncertain, all that stuff. And then the beginning of 2024, I talked about I that episode was about the year of perspective, where I was talking about how our industry overcorrected, not everyone, many overcorrected, and instead of clear communication, they started putting up walls, calling them boundaries, which they aren't. Being difficult to do business is not a healthy boundary. That's not a healthy boundary. Being difficult to do business with, lack of availability, lack of consistency, prices inconsistent with the value or the brand, meaning some people were charging $200 for a $50 experience, those types of things. So when I see Katie's content, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing kind of all of those things that we have been struggling with as an industry. I'm seeing, yeah, I mean, she's kind of again like textbook. Like, yeah, this is how you do it. And again, it doesn't matter what price point, right? It doesn't matter. Client experience and fundamentals apply to all business models and all market positions. Katie's promise, brand promise, genuine. She cares. Like the conversation she has with her clients, she was talking about a client, a haircut client. She had a 90-year-old haircut client, and I believe that Katie said she was 22. And she was so curious and interested. She's like, you can imagine how much we had to talk about. And I thought, fuck yeah. Like, we talk so often about generational differences and generational divides, which of course, I mean, there are. We're a 22-year-old and a 90-year-old, very, very, very different generations. However, there's so much we can learn from older generations. There's so much we can learn from younger generations. And that's where that curiosity really comes into play in leadership. You know, you've got a Gen X leader with a Gen Z team member. And I mean, I don't need to tell you, there's definitely been discourse. Same with the boomers and the millennials. And I could go on and on. Anyways, so Katie's brand promise, you'll always feel welcome and cared for and feel beautiful when you leave my chair. So she's not comparing herself or her salon to others. She's not, she's just consistent. She's just consistent. And consistency builds trust. Trust builds relationships. Relationships turn into referrals. Referrals are retained when you deliver a consistent experience aligned with your brand, and retain referrals equal revenue and higher lifetime client values. Um, Her brand people are everyday clients who want a dependable hairstylist that listens, that delivers consistent results without the fucking attitude. Clients who value kindness, clients that value connection, clients that value a salon experience at an affordable price, affordable to them. They value comfort, they value consistency, they value all of that. The other thing that Katie does in going back to brand promises, Katie's talked often about um, she won't talk about her take home pay. She talks about price, the actual salon prices, but she doesn't talk about take home pay. That's a healthy boundary. She doesn't film clients that are children. She doesn't film clients that do not consent to being filmed. Healthy boundary. So again, that's safety, that's trust, and you can see that. And I also believe Katie's brand people are hairstylists. I see it. I see it on her page who are tired of the narrative, the narratives that have been harmful in our industry. Coming from, I truly believe, well-meaning influencers, well-meaning content creators, well-meaning salon owners, and well-meaning independent hairstylists that just are being taken out of context or not well-meaning and just looking for views. And then brand products and services, haircuts. She does beautiful haircuts, color, um, etc. So I could go on and on. Anyways, so that would be kind of like a general brand story outline that I would have for Katie as a personal brand. So let's talk about the value of value. I think this is such an important part of what we can learn from Katie, the Walmart hairstylist. We've talked a lot about market position. We talk about the price pyramid a lot on this podcast. There's value, there's a value position, which is low price, high volume, mid market position, mid price, mid volume, and then the top of the pyramid, luxury positioning, high price, low volume. So you're doing 2 haircuts a day for $500 each. And at the bottom of the pyramid, you're doing 10 haircuts at $30 each or $20 each. So Katie isn't. Katie's owning her market position. She's honoring it. She's showing what value actually means: accessibility, consistency, trustworthiness, and humanness. And there are several clients out there that stopped going to a salon in the pandemic. And I'm not talking about when salons were closed, I'm talking about when they reopened. And the truth is, in many salons, prices rose faster than the actual experience or cost, by the way. And that was all happening as economic insecurity continued to grow. And that whole charging your worth bullshit. Again, out of context and misleading. And what Katie shows us is that you can you can work in a value brand and still deliver high touch, high level client experience. One doesn't cancel out the other. Because care, trust, and value belong everywhere, not just in luxury spaces. And in a time where consumers are cutting back, they're watching every dollar. This is important because they're still craving connection, right? They still want to look and feel beautiful. But we definitely have a trust issue. And so much of it is being driven by viral internet content. So care, trust, and value, I'll never shut up about it. It's so incredibly important. And of course, depending on your brand, it's going to be different. But I truly believe that Katie shows us what care, trust, and value look like as a hairstylist inside a Walmart salon. The other thing that has really caught my attention in watching Katie's content is nostalgia. And I've talked about, if you were in A school, you've heard me talk about nostalgia for years. It's a macro trend. It's kind of like wellness, something that's been building over time. And nostalgia, of course, is going to look different depending on your brand. However, the macro trend still exists. And we as a humanity, we as a people are craving nostalgia. And you can look at it as as think the world's gotten complicated, the world's gotten scary, the world's gotten heavy, and we're looking for that comfort. Nostalgia is also kind of like another word for comfort. You can see nostalgia in what's happening in cinema, in so many like bringing back of like older, classics. You can look at nostalgia as people taking things offline and people really craving offline spaces. And you can look at nostalgia as people uh, spending time in bookstores versus reading books on their tablet. You can look at nostalgia so many different ways, but it is very much about emotional, psychological safety, emotional comfort, those types of things that nostalgia macro trend really, really speaks to. And even more so in the last few years as AI has been shoved down our throats in everywhere we look, everywhere we log onto. It's so fucking out of control and also causing a lot of problems with more misinformation, disinformation. It's confusing consumers and all of that. So as that escalates, we are going to crave that nostalgia even more. And I thought it was really interesting. I just took a screenshot this morning as I was preparing for this episode, and I was looking at comments again on Katie's content, and there's a comment that literally says, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I believe it, but it says these videos give me, I don't know, a sense of peace and nostalgia. I hope your bank's never empty. You deserve all the best. And so there you have it. Katie's content and storytelling is hitting that emotional note. It's comforting, it's familiar. And I'm not talking about, because I know that sometimes we struggle with black and white absolute thinking. I am not saying go back to the fucking 60s hair salon. That's not what I'm saying. I think if you've followed anything that I've done over the years, you know that I am all about the present and the future. However, however, we have kind of lost our way collectively in what it means to be of service to a client in a salon and delivering that experience consistently. We are so fucking distracted by and in comparison, we're blah, 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 right? So another thing that really caught me was Katie really just is so aligned with the nostalgia macro trend. And I that's going to be important. It's going to continue to be really, really important. Even though these are things I've been talking about for the last, I don't know, 4 years. Some things I've been talking about much longer than 4 years, but the care trust value part of this is really I started talking about 4 years ago, where we really needed to double down and get back to the fundamentals. Again, aligned with your brand. It's going to look different for everybody, but that's how important it was going to be to retain clients and really build higher lifetime client values. The amount of happiness, joy, referrals, and revenue your clients bring you over the lifetime of your relationship. The same could be lifetime team value or tenant value if you're an employment based salon or lease based salon. It's all the same thing, right? And Katie's content is again care. It's care is the strategy. Building trust is the strategy. Delivering value is the strategy. And the comments in her content tell a story. Tell a story that the majority of people out there that chose to get in the beauty industry truly care about delivering exceptional service and an exceptional experience and have a servant's heart. But the internet has really distorted what it means to be a hairdresser working in a salon. And the thing that I love about Katie's story is that in one of her recent videos, she talked about it's been her dream. I think she said since she was 15 to be a content creator. Okay, I'm tearing up. I know you're not shocked by that. I'm super emotional about this. In a recent video, she said, "I've wanted to be a content creator since I was 15, and I cannot like thank you enough for helping me make this dream come true." And I believe it was the last TikTok that I saw before recording this episode. I think she got her first brand deal. And I love that for her. I love that for anybody. You can have a dream to be a content creator, but that doesn't mean that we start shitting on clients and client shaming and putting up walls instead of practicing clear communication and healthy boundaries. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And I believe we've gotten off track. And I've talked again, nothing new coming out of my mouth. And really just abandoning the fundamentals and chasing the dopamine, right? Getting pulled into the algorithm and the aesthetic. And we can have both. We can have both create content, deliver awesome client experience. I talked about this. I talked about this several times. I had shared a post. I'd done the podcast about it. I think it was 9 reasons or 8 reasons our my clients, our businesses are growing while we were seeing so much content saying it's the salon business is terrible. Um, I see it a lot. I'm seeing it right now with aesthetics. I'm seeing a lot of estheticians struggling. Here's the thing: the clients that I was working with at this time that I created this content and etc. They didn't abandon the fundamentals. They didn't increase their prices outside of the experience and market position. They stayed focused. They didn't get distracted by the internet viral bullshit in our industry. And they continued to grow and stay profitable. Katie's a reminder of all of those things. Um, I feel like Katie is a mirror to so many of the challenges that we're having in the industry and what the simple solution to those challenges. Because trust, care, and value, that's what's going to create an awesome long term salon business. I am so grateful to have stumbled upon the Walmart hairstylist content. Katie, I don't know you. I just hope you know what an impact your content is having, not just on our industry, but just on the bigger on the in the bigger population of TikTok. Um, your your energy, your peace, your humility, your passion. It's so inspiring. And, you know, it doesn't matter, loves, listen, whether you're charging $24.49 for a haircut, which is Katie's, which is the haircut price at the Walmart salon, $24.49 or $450. Whether you work in a suite or a salon, the fundamentals never change. The fundamentals never change. And Katie is a beautiful, beautiful example of that. A beautiful example of why most of us got into this industry in the first place. This immense desire to serve, to create, to help people feel and look beautiful, to build community and connection. I mean, wow. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you. We are having an awesome time inside Mentored. Oh my gosh. We're building about, I think we're at about, I don't know, building about 3 or 4 brand stories a week now, doing a few social and digital audits each week now. Um, we're beginning to see so much more clarity and results, new client requests, all sorts of things. If you're interested in hanging out with us inside Mentored, you just have to go to @Passion Squared on Instagram and tap subscribe. It would be an honor to serve you and to support you and to mentor you. I hope you have a peaceful day wherever you are. If you found value in this episode and you believe one of your business besties can also find value in this episode, I'd be so grateful if you shared it. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, when you rate and leave a review, you help this podcast become more discoverable to the people it can serve. So I appreciate you. Have a peaceful day.